Old School Runescape boss tier list. Here we are. We're coming up with a tier list. We've got all these different bosses here. I'm going to rate them on the scale. S tier being the absolute best. D tier being absolute dog shit. We're going to go through it. Let's get into it. So I'm going to rate these by a series of mainly 3 categories. How difficult is the boss and what's its intended audience? In this case, Scurrius is a pretty low mid-tier level boss, but its intended audience is for that low mid-tier range. So if you're like you're a max account, the boss isn't for you, so you're not its intended audience. So I'm going to factor that in. Resource gain. What can you gain from the boss? How much money can you make per hour? Such a big factor in regarding to rating these bosses for how good they are. And lastly, it's necessity to complete. Some bosses, you can actually go through the whole game, get to the end game without ever having to touch it because it's not a necessity to get some of the items that are dropped. So I'm going to take that into account. Some of the other things that I will also take into account, but maybe to not hold so much weight, are the location of where the boss is, the resource cost, how much supplies you have to put into the boss, and lastly, requirements such as Hydra requires such a high level of Slayer to make it, to actually be able to start killing the boss. Was it 93, 95 Slayer? I don't even know. That's a high level of Slayer to be able to kill the Hydra, and so you can't get there too close to the end game. So those are the things we're going to take into account, okay? So we'll get right into it. And my pictures have only, for the tall photos, have their heads cut off, but that's fine. We'll get into it. Here we've got, I think it's a Deranged Archaeologist. Give me a second. Deranged Archaeologist. Yeah, that's the Deranged Archaeologist, okay? So, Deranged Archaeologist, he's on Fossil Island, I believe. You have no necessity to ever kill this boss. He drops absolutely nothing worthwhile. He has no pets. He has no items you need. He goes at the bottom of D tier. D for dumb. D for you never need to do this boss ever. There's a reason why you can get 500 kills and you'll be in like the top 1k in the high scores. You don't need to do them. Leave them alone. Pain in the ass. Go away. Next, we've got the newest boss, who has no head as well. Amoxliatl, blah, 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 blah. The ice thingy. So, I'm proud to say I was in the top 1,000 on the high scores when this boss came out. Only because I did it on day 1, but I haven't touched it since. I've got about 73 kills. 3 of those pendant of whatever. Overall, it's a alright boss. Probably aim more towards the mid-level. Doesn't really drop anything of relevance. That pendant, although it's useful, is not necessary. I mean, I would do the boss, but... So, in this case, I'm going to put also D tier. It's just not necessary. Fun boss, but nah, don't need to do it. Calvar'ion with no head. And what's the other one? Vidion with no head as well. I'm going to conclude these two together. Overall, this is a pretty fun fight. Calvar'ion and Vidion, you got to hit him, take him down to 0 HP in the wilderness. Kill the 2 Hellhounds, kill him again. You do have to be aware of where you're standing because of all the little lightning strikes that will come at you. So this is in the wilderness. So you've got Calvar'ion, the single combat, and you've got Vidion in the multi-combat. Good loot. Dragon Pickaxe, part of the Void Waker piece. Very fun boss. In my opinion, the best of the 3 wilderness bosses. And I'm going to put Vidion in A tier. Good boss. Chaos Fanatic. Chaos Fanatic with no head as well. None of these bosses have heads today. So, Chaos Fanatic is in deepish wilderness, close to the KBD lair. Has pieces that you need to make the... What's the ring? That... I can't even think of the name of the thing it drops. It drops 2 pieces, the shards. And it's going to help make the ring. You also have to kill Scorpia and the other crazy archaeologist to make the ring. Pretty easy boss. Do you need to do it? Arguably no. I don't really have much more to say. D tier. Vardorvis. Okay. Now we're starting to get into some harder bosses. Vard set me on my ass when I first started learning it. And to be fair, if I went and tried Vard now, I can guarantee I get set on my ass again. Really well done fight. Very good. I mean, it has some good loot. I mean, standard loot, not so much. I mean, you're going to use more on supplies than you are on stuff that is dropped. But in terms of a boss fight, the mechanics of the boss fight is brilliant, I think. I haven't done the Awakened Vard. I haven't done any of the Awakened bosses, to be fair, but Vardorvis is a great boss. I would be very close to putting them between these two. In this case, I'm actually going to put him in S tier because he is a hard boss. He's a very hard boss, but he's challenging boss. And you know you're starting to get good at the game when you can start mastering Vard, because the mechanics of Vardorvis are incredible. S tier boss, arguably in between there. I'm giving it an A plus or S minus. It's somewhere in between that range, okay? Abyssal Sire with no legs, okay? I've got about 1,000 Abyssal Sire kills, okay? 1,000 Abyssal Sire kills whenever I get a task for the Sire. I do it. I do the whole thing start to finish. So many people complain about the Sire. What you need to do is do small amounts at a time. If you hate it, do 20 per day. It's not that hard. The drops are questionably not that great, but the dopamine hit of getting one of those unsires and putting it in that pool, it's a pretty cool feeling. In terms of the actual boss and what it brings to the game, I mean, the Abyssal Bludgeon arguably is a very good item. Possibly not as good since the Dual Mac Daddies from the Lunar Moons of Peril is out. So in that case, I'm going to put it in C tier. You could even argue D tier, but I personally like Abyssal Sire, and I will do it when I get it. Chaos Archaeologist, or the other Archaeologist, whatever. This is the one that's in the wilderness. So look, he's got his brother here with no head. Pretty easy boss in low enough wilderness that you can teleport out. Pretty chill, pretty almost AFK, I'd say. A source of a rune crossbow for people that need that on Iron Men. But faces very similar things to these ones here. It's just not needed. Goodbye, D tier. High D tier though, because it's a lot better than this. Actually, I'm putting Amoxliatl at the top of D tier, and we're gonna move on. Bryophyta with no head. Okay, Bryophyta. I've got a lot of kills of Bryophyta. Let me quickly check. KC Bryophyta. I've got 152 Bryophyta kills, and I've got 5 Bryophyta's essences, okay? Why? When I was training, the way I trained was I put cannon in the giant's den with the moss giants, and I'd get ancient shards, totem pieces, and mossy keys together, and that's how I trained. And to be fair, when I'm AFK these days, I still do it. And so I just collect it all, and that's my source for beginner clues, or if I want to go for the Bryophyta's essence for some money or whatever. Is it needed? No. D tier over here. Even though I do it, it's not necessary. DKs. This is going to encompass all the DKs together, okay? So you got Dagannoth Rex, Dagannoth Prime, and Dagannoth Supreme. Dagannoth Supreme's a ranger off the top of my head. Prime is the ranger, major, and Rex is the melee. Great fight. When you're starting to get towards the kind of end of mid-game, these are really good bosses to tackle, okay? They're going to teach you about needing to press switch. They're going to teach you about where you need to be standing. You need to be able to learn to do different combat styles to take on all three. And this is like your introduction into different combat styles. For its entire intended audience, great boss. For the more late game guys, when you do get your Slayer Tarth and you see DK, sometimes you're like, oh, dumb, skip, whatever. For its intended audience, I think that Dagannoth Kings are brilliant, and therefore not S tier in any means. I'll leave them in B tier because, I mean, they make good money, but yeah, that's about it. Great boss, but in the middle. It's a good boss, but it's also, there's other stuff that you could be doing, okay? Next is the Chaos Elemental, the little cloud thingy. 1 in 300 for this pet, okay? It's one of the easiest boss pets you're ever going to get if you're going to go for some pets, okay? So this is a good one to go for. Now, what I'm going to do is I'll move that back down. I'm using some tier list thing. There we go. Get rid of that writing. we're back into it, okay? Chaos Elemental, easy boss, gets a dragon pickaxe. I'm pretty sure it's the lowest chance of a dragon pickaxe in the game. I could be wrong, don't quote me on that. In very deep wilderness, this isn't multi. He's gonna teleport you. If you're not prepared, he's gonna unequip you. Too much risk for not that much reward. I do think it's better than these ones though. So in this case, because of the dragon pickaxe drop, really necessary for Iron Man, this is going in the low C tier, okay? Giant Mole. I haven't done much Giant Mole. When I first came back to this game in mid-2023, this is where I started Giant Mole. Pretty easy boss. The mechanics of it are relatively simple. I mean, GP per hour is consistent with the Mole Claw, the Mole Skin, and I mean, I don't really have too much more to say on this. There's no reason to farm this boss. There's other better methods to get money. I will put this above Abyssal Sire, I think, but that's about as far as it goes. Grotesque Guardians. This is going to be an unpopular opinion, okay? Grotesque Guardians, I love. I love getting a Grotesque, a gargoyle task in general, because I can choose. Do I want to grind out Grotesque Guardians, or do I just want to make some chill money with normal gargoyles? The boss is relatively repetitive. You have to do the same thing over and over again. And with this, it's just the loot is not that great. The thing that I love about this boss is the pet. The Grotesque Guardian's pet has got to be one of the best pets in the game, in my opinion. But if you're missing it, you're not missing it. If you do it and you skip it, there's no real thing, nothing you're really missing from skipping this task. I'm going to put this personally above DK's because I love a good Grotesque Guardians task. Commander Ziliyana. Now, this is a boss. What is it? What do you drop? Armadyl Godsword and Saradomin Hilt. Fun boss. A good God Wars dungeon boss. I don't really have too much to say about this one. Back in the day, this would have been considered one of the harder bosses to tackle. Can be seen just dropping some logs, doing some more wood cutting. And, I mean, yeah. I don't really have too much to say about this boss. C tier. C. Scurrius. For mid-level gamers wanting to get good XP per hour, Scurrius is the way to go, okay? This is great XP. The loot is absolutely... The loot is dumb, but it's going to teach you mechanics about basic movement. This is the boss you recommend for players getting into the game so they can learn about mechanics and eating and all these kind of things that you need to start doing before they transition to some of these other lower level bosses. This is the entry into bossing in OSRS, okay? So Scurrius, a little rat dickhead. I'm actually going to put him also in B tier, only because of the intended audience of mid-game players. Also a very good source for medium clues, but who uses those for medium clues these days? Everyone uses eclectic impling jars, so B tier only because its intended audience are the lower levels, you know, your 70 to 90 range, okay? So that's the only reason. Nightmare. I've tackled Nightmare about 5 times, and I've sat on my ass 5 times, and I haven't gone back, okay? It drops some bloody good items, though. The Inquisitor's Mace. How much is that? Multiple 100 millions. And all the other good pieces that it drops. The Harmonized Orb. That's the Phosanis, I'm pretty sure. I haven't tackled this too much, and I haven't dug too much into it. So it would be hard for me to give this one an accurate thing. But from what I've heard, you need a good team. You need multiple people to tackle this boss. So, I mean, my opinion is kind of irrelevant specifically for the Nightmare. Given what I've heard from other people, though, it's good, but it's not necessary. Other than very late game, I'm going to put this in somewhere in B tier, only because, yeah. Skotizo. Skotizo has one of the best pet drops in the game, okay? I think it's 1 in 60. 1 in 60 for a boss to get a pet. Getting the key to get to the boss, though, is a pain in the ass, and that's what you go to kill the moss giants for the Bryophytas stuff, get the mossy keys, but you also get these pieces when you do it in the Giant's Den or within Zaya, okay? This boss, I mean, the fight is pretty basic. You kill the things on the side when they all spawn. You kill the bosses, and it's pretty simple. 100% chance to drop a hard clue, which is awesome if you are trying to go for a master clue and all you're missing is a hard. That's your best source. Go straight to Skotizo. The pet drop is is very good. I mean, I haven't got it. I'm almost halfway there. I've got about 30 Skotizo kills. No pet drops, but the way the game goes. I am also going to put... I'll put Skotizo... No, I'm going to put Skotizo in A tier. No, high B tier, only because it's so hard to farm the stuff for this. It's just a long-ass grind, okay? Phantom Muspah. Now, I don't know if I'm one of the only ones that think this, but this is an awesome boss. Phantom Muspah, the mechanics of Phantom Muspah are brilliant. It's a big step up. It's kind of that transition, starting to get to the very late game, and the mechanics of it are cool. The way you have to move, the way you have to change your prayers, the way you have to smite him. Brilliant boss. The loot, Venenatis shard to get the Venenatis bow. You get heaps of seeds, heaps of different drops, heaps of alks. Overall, a brilliant boss, not too hard to get to once you have the teleport methods. Its downfall, though, is the Venenatis bow is just not necessary for a lot of content, okay? So I don't have a Venenatis bow. I've started trying to grind it, but if I don't get one, it doesn't matter. I'm not missing out on that much. I can burst stuff that are in multi-combat. The Venenatis bow is just like an extra necessary that it's good to have, but you don't really need it. So, with that, I'm putting Muspah at the top of A tier because Muspah is a brilliant boss, but the downfall is you just really don't need to go there, okay? But awesome boss. Next, you can mass next, you can small group next. Mana drops some good stuff. Can't even think of the name of the Torva helmet, all this kind of stuff. There's a Zarite crossbow. What more can you want? Very mechanically challenging. If you don't understand next, you need to have someone take you to next. Brilliant boss. You can't do it solo though, or as far as I'm aware, you can't. I think this is a great boss. I'm gonna keep you straight under Phantom Muspah, to tell you the truth. Great boss. End of. Thermonuclear Smoke Devil. Okay. When I was younger and I didn't have the Slayer level to be able to tackle this boss, I thought this was the epitome. I remember being like, I want to farm Thermonuclear. Looks cool to do in that room. Messes up all the screen. And then I did it. I did about 200 kills of it once I got the appropriate Slayer level. I think I've greenlogged it minus the staff that you get from it. I got the pet quite early. And I learned very quickly, this is a lame boss. Once you've greenlogged it, there's nothing more to do. This boss sucks. Once you've got it, leave it. That's the end of it. You are going in the C tier Thermonuclear. Obor with no head. No one has heads in this. Obor, very similar to Bryophyta. You got to kill hill giants to get the giant keys. The boss fight is very basic, and you got to try and get the club in this case rather than the Bryophyta's essence. I don't have it. I haven't tried to get it too much. Very basic fight. I think it's easier than Bryophyta from memory. Free to play is a very common one to use this. Its entire intended audience is lower. Once again, though, Kaka boss. Kaka means poo poo where I'm from. And nah, D tier, go away. Chaos Fanatic, you can come up. These two are terrible. Next, Cerberus. Cerberus will eat your prayer pots so fast. Your prayer will get ripped by them, but getting a purple drop from them, getting your primordial crystal, it's very, very satisfying. But this boss doesn't drop much other than that primordial crystal. I will admit the Hellhound, the pet though, does look pretty good, the Hell puppy. But it doesn't drop anything else really other than that. I mean, you got your Pegasian crystal and your Echo crystal and those other ones. I mean, I think it's the Echo one is worth quite a bit. But this boss just drains it. It requires quite a lot of focus. Not great. This boss is going top of C tier. Not great. Zulrah. Okay. Zulrah is my favorite boss. And by favorite boss, that is F tier for fucking awesome. Okay? Going straight to the top of S tier. Zulrah is the best boss in the game, in my opinion. The way it's designed, how difficult it is, the resource gain. You do need to complete it in so many different ways. You need to get the Tanzanite Fang, and you also need to get, what's the other Fang piece? You need to get your Serpentine Helm, you need to get your Blowpipe, Onyx for your Fury. This boss has it all, okay? You start to grind this boss kind of towards the end of mid-game, maybe start of late game, and this can be, you can do Zulrah from there all the way to the end. I mean, I'm max combat now, and I love doing Zulrah. It's a chill boss. Once you learn all the rotations, it's really not that difficult. Pretty much, if he's in the middle, run to the other side. It's not that hard. The money you get per hour, I'll admit, it's not as good as Vorkath, especially at the moment because the price of superior Dragon Bones have gone through the roof. But Zulrah is a great boss. If you want to start learning mechanics, you need to learn switches. You need to learn how to prayer swap. That's kind of your introduction into prayer swapping. This is one of the best bosses. It's a really cool pet. I've just got nothing bad to say about Zulrah. It's a really, really good boss, and that's it. Zulrah, in this case, is going to be the top of S tier, okay? This is a tree. Oh, this is the Whisperer. Look at that. What are these images? Now, Zulrah has set me on my ass multiple times. And it's going to continue sitting me on my ass, okay? So, Whisperer is great. And that enrage phase is so difficult. Maybe I'm just retarded, and that's a very good possibility. But the mechanics of Zulrah are going to make you... The difficulty of it is very hard. And you need to learn so many different mechanics. Your movement, your prayer swapping, tiles, your true tile. Everything about it is difficult. It's very similar to Vardorvis. I personally can't stand the Whisperer. It's very far from a bank. Just everything about it not great. But I know it's a very popular boss. Funnily enough, I got so much more KC and Duke than I do on Whisperer. But I'm higher on the high scores on Whisperer. And I think it's just because of how hard the Whisperer is. In terms of overall, though, you can get the ring from it. The pet's also pretty cool as well. I'm not the biggest fan of it. I am aware that it's a pretty cool boss, though. I'm going to put it at under Skotizo for B tier. Arraxor, the newest spider into OSRS, okay? The Arraxor, I got so many opinions. I did one full task of it, okay? By the time I got to the end of it, I said I was sick of the task. I found it boring with all the other eggs that you have to shoot. The green spider, the white spider, the red spider, just nah. It does have some decent loot, especially with, you can make the Rancor with it. For myself, I got no reason to go there, but it can, yeah. I think this is also going in C tier. I'll go high, sorry, not C tier, B tier. High, B tier. Let me turn off my idle notifier. So I'm trying to cut logs here, okay? Can't you give me a break? I'm trying to cut logs and make a tier list. Okay, Hydra. I recently unlocked Hydra, and I've got a Hydra task now. Absolutely money maker, man. I've got no uniques. Let me just have a look quickly in this. Where is my Alchemical Hydra? So I've done 94 of them, and 94 of them is on my PC, and I've done probably about another 80 on my mobile while I'm doing other stuff. I still got about 20 left, but from those 94 that I've done on PC, 11.2 mil. It shoots out money. Brilliant. It has a very high Slayer level. The downfall of Hydra, it is so boring. It sucks. It is a boring task. I can only do about 20 at a time, and I have to go do something else. It's the same thing, but it shoots out money. So, goes down for being such a repetitive, boring boss, but it goes straight back up for how much money it shoots out. So I'm going to put it under Muspah. No, under Nex. There we go. Hespori. Okay, I've got a love relationship with Hespori. I've got too many Hespori kills because I love farming. Pretty easy boss. You don't really got much more to say to that. It helps with the seeds for farming. You don't really need to tackle Hespori. There's like no real necessity to tackle Hespori in the farming guild. Nah. I want to put it up here because I love farming so much, but you're going straight down here, Hespori. 2. Yeah, there, C tier. Okay, Corrupted Gauntlet. Corrupted Gauntlet and just the normal Gauntlet actually, so well designed. You start naked, you got to get all the resources, you got to get your stuff, your weapons, your food, everything you need, and then you got to take this, and this, I would say, Gauntlet is where you really start to learn your skills, okay? Because you have to, in the actual fight, you need to press swap every few attacks. You have to run away from the tiles on the ground. You have to run away from the things chasing you all over the place. And when you get your first ever specifically Corrupted Gauntlet kill, it is so satisfying. You get the enhanced weapon seed. The downfall of Corrupted Gauntlet, which isn't a fault of the actual mechanics of Corrupted Gauntlet, the downfall of Corrupted Gauntlet is Iron Men that spend 400 KC in the space of a couple weeks and get sick of it, and they overdo themselves in Corrupted Gauntlet, and they get sick of it, they hate it, they never want to go back because they spend too much time on it, okay, trying to chase that enhanced weapon seed. And I think that's their own fault and not a fault of Corrupted Gauntlet, and for me, Corrupted Gauntlet rightly belongs in S tier. Corp Beast. I love Corp Beast, okay? So I first did it when we did my first bingo 6 months ago, and I loved it. Solo Corp was a lot of fun. The problem is it takes 10 minutes to do a solo kill, but man, if you get that drop, Elysian Spirit Shield, what is it, 700 mil? I have definitely not got that anytime soon. It's a 1 in 2k, I think it is. But it takes so long to do. You've got no reason to do it. A lot of people bot it. I love Corp though. I think it's a really cool boss. The mechanics of it are really cool. I know that popular opinion and the way that the community sees it is going to be somewhere down here. For me, I think Corp is a great boss, and it's going in, above Arraxor, B tier. Duke, Sucellus. I've got 200-300 KC in Duke. I think it's a fun boss. The mechanics of it are pretty cool. I've got the Duke of the Eye. That's what I needed for the bingo. Teaches you a lot about movement specifically, and the annoying part of Duke is the preparation phase. Okay, the preparation phase is a pain in the ass. I think it's a good boss though, and I'm putting Duke just below Corp. Bandos. Okay, let me tell you a story. Actually, I'm gonna move these two together. And I know they don't sound like they should be together, but in this case they are, okay? Bandos and Leviathan. No relation at all, but in this case they are going to be in the same thing, okay? So Bandos, I'm going to be honest with you. I've only ever killed Bandos once. I'm going to be honest with you. I've only ever killed Leviathan once. And they are going in S tier, both of them. Leviathan and Bandos, because my 1kc Bandos got me a Bandos chestplate. Screenshot attached, and then my 1kc Leviathan during the quest got me a Virtus robe top, and I've never been back because that log looks so sweet. So I ran under Bandos and I hit him, I ran back under him and hit him, ran back under him, hit him, and boom, Bandos chest plate. And Leviathan, tell you the truth, I don't even remember the fight, but it got me a nice pink drop, and I haven't been back at S tier. Anyone else who disagrees can suck it. Kree'arra. Okay. Kree'arra is my favorite God Wars dungeon boss by a mile, with the exception of Bandos, of course. Such a fun fight. Learning the chin chopper method is absolutely brilliant. It's a really fun boss to do duo, especially. It's very hard when you're first learning it because Kree can hit so hard if you're not prepared. You let her melee you, she'll hit 25, all the minions gonna hit you 10 here. Once you get the hang of it, though, it's awesome. It is a bit difficult to learn, especially because you need ecumenical keys. And if you're not going to ecumenical key, you're going to need to kill all the minions. I love Kree'arra. Armadyl chestplate, Armadyl chain skirt. You get the Armadyl helmet, 10 mil, 25 mil, 40 mil. Great boss. And I'm actually putting it at the top of A tier. Spindel and Venenatis. I haven't done too much of this. With the new boots, the Arania boots that you get from the Arraxites, I believe this is a lot easier, but that's more risk going into the wilderness. From how many I've done, I haven't done all that many. The worst of the 3 wilderness bosses. I don't really have much more to say. I'm gonna put this and above. No, top of C tier, not great. Krill. With a Scorching Bow, Krill has become incredibly easy, okay? Krill, freeze him, kill him, rinse and repeat. You could take quite a few people here, stay there for ages. Krill's downfall is he does not drop anything amazing. The Zamorak Spear's, what, a couple of mil? You get Zamorak Hilt. I mean, Zamorak Hilt's pretty good. That's got probably the most expensive piece. But, hey, that's about it. I would rather spend so much more time at Kree'arra than I would at Zami. And for that reason, I don't think it's a terrible boss though, but I'm also putting Zami in C tier. The Huey Coatl, the newest boss. You need to do this in groups. Actually, you don't need to. You can do this solo, but it takes about 10, maybe 12 minutes. You get the Huey Coatl hide. What else do you get from this boss? The seeds, the Huasca seeds that you can use to create the new potions. I mean, the mechanics of it and the idea of it are pretty cool. It's for being a brand new boss. I will give it, they've gone outside the box with the way that this boss is designed. Do you need to do it? Arguably, yes, for those seeds. Do you need the hides? Arguably, no. I'll put this at there. There on the chart. Half of a Vorkath, okay, because his head's missing and the end of his tail's missing. This is very similar to Alchemical Hydra. This shoots out money, but it's a lot more of an engaging fight. It's quite an enjoyable fight, actually. I can sit there for ages. Downfall, which I don't know if is really a downfall, is it doesn't drop anything high priced. Vorkath is just consistent money, just consistently bones, other items that will just raise money a lot, but you're not going to get a big ticket item like an Armadyl chest plate worth $43 million, and with superior bones, the blue ones at the moment costing like 20k each. This is a money maker. Brilliant boss, and I'm also putting this boss in S tier. You can go there. These two, Callisto and Ardio. Awesome boss to mass. Condor's masses with this are brilliant. I haven't managed to join them, but watching them are awesome. Voidwaker pieces as well. I've done this probably more than Spindel and Venenatis, but less than Calvar'ion and the other one. Where the hell Calvarion's gone? Where's Calvar'ion gone? I don't know. Okay, well, anyway, I don't know where Calvarion's gone. Let me add him here. Where was I? I was here with this boss. I mean, the mechanics aren't too hard. You don't get anything of major note. You take your looting bag, you pick stuff up. The mass stuff is the best feature of it. Really cool boss to mass, and for that case, I'm going to put him in... yeah, about there. Scorpia. So I've greenlogged Scorpia and I've got about 90 kills of Scorpia. I did it when doing the bingo where I needed this piece. I needed the piece of these two as well to make the ring. And that's what I did. And I got the pet in it, which is a 1 and 2k for the Scorpia pet. They've recently updated, and by recently I mean like 6 months ago, updated its drop table. But I don't know anyone that goes there. Boom, done boss, go there. What the hell is this? Oh, I got these two wrong. Okay, swap this. That's Sarachnis. That one's Sarachnis. Okay, Sarachnis. Sarachnis is awesome, and let me tell you why Sarachnis is awesome. In my opinion, Sarachnis is one of the best sources of elite clue drops, and not only does it drop elite clues, it drops hard clues as well. Okay, so hard clues are, I think, a 1 in 40, elite clues are 1 in 60, and you can kill this boss once every minute. Okay, it's a fast boss to kill. It's not hard, especially with the new spider boots from Arraxites. It gets good supplies. You get rare dragon hide. You get ores. You get food. You get all sorts of things. Awesome boss. For its intent, I'm putting this at the top of A tier. Not because it's difficult, but because of the other things it gains. Mainly the clues and mainly the resources with the new boots, okay? Jad. Jad is iconic. Man, the people that played 2007 OSRS when Jad came out, this was the hardest boss to go against, okay? Jad is a brilliant boss, and all of us, when we got to wave 63, I remember my heartbeat, dug, 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 and it would be your own pressure that you put on yourself was the reason that you die, okay? But now we look back on Jad because people were taking on Zuck, and Jad I can pretty much do with my eyes closed now. But the way Jad was ever made and its history in the game makes it an automatic S tier. Okay? Kraken. Kraken. Good source of money. You get it at, is it 83 Slayer, I think it is. Good source of money, but once you've greenlogged it, you kind of get a Kraken task, and you're like, ugh. I mean, it can be relatively AFK. You don't have to come back every couple of minutes to re-click on it. Good source of money, so it's going to be higher than D. C, relatively AFK with good money. Yeah, it's going to go about there. Yeah. King Black Dragon. This is another iconic monster boss for Old School RuneScape. Okay, now where does this go? It's a pretty basic fight. It used to be the hardest boss in the game, from my understanding. Not anymore, nowhere near as much. The KBD pet is pretty cool, and it's pretty iconic when you see someone walking around with a KBD pet. I'm going to put the KBD, because of how iconic it is, I'm going to put it high, B tier. You don't really have a need to do it these days, so a little lower actually. Just below the Whisperer, the log thingy. Kalphite Queen. Kalphite Queen is hard. And it was hard 15 years ago in 2007 OSRS, and it's still hard today. It hits through your prayer, and it hits hard. You flinch it, you run forward, run under it, you kind of almost red exit in a way. But it's still going to do so much damage to you. You can get 2 kills a trip, 3 if you're lucky. But it just uses so much supplies. The best drop, you got your dragon chain body and a dragon pickaxe, and that's it. The best thing about Kalphite Queen is its pet, because you can flaunt it, and it's one of the best looking. I mean, not one of the best looking, but it's prestigious to have it because it's hard to get it. 1 in 3k must be for the pet, and people know you've worked hard for that pet. But because it doesn't have any good drops, it just rips you on your ass. Sorry, Kalphite Queen, but you're going down here. Actually, no, you can go up purely because of your historic value. But other than that, nah, you got no necessity, and that's it. And I do have Calvar'ion on there. Okay, Calvarion's going on there twice. Okay, he's going right next to each other, so that Calvarion's better than the other. The only one I've missed is Zuck. I'm also and Soul Herited actually, because Soul Herited is quite new. I haven't done either of those yet. My grinds are going to be coming up, and so I think it would be unfair to put them on this tier list. With Soul Herited, yeah, I don't know anything about Colosseum yet, and with Zuck, some of the hardest content in the game, and from how I understand it, Zuck would be up here, but I'm not going to rate it for this case. So that is my OSRS tier list. I hope you enjoyed. If you like, please subscribe. If you disagree with me, let me know what you think, because I want to know about your wrong opinion, because right, this is the right opinion, and that's all. So see you later, dickheads. Shelf it out.